The pain of grief can often cause you to want to withdraw from others and retreat into your shell. But having the face-to-face support of other people is important to your healing from the loss of what has happened. Even if you're not comfortable with talking about your feelings under normal circumstances, it's important to express them when you are grieving. There has to be someone that, or an inner circle support group that you can be vulnerable with. You may not be comfortable, like if you are like me, I'm not comfortable sharing my feelings publicly. So, but I have my inner group support system that I can be myself with and tell them that this is how I'm feeling at the moment, and I let the tears flow. So while sharing your loss can make the burden of grief easier to carry, that doesn't mean that every time you interact with your friends and your family you need to talk about your loss, because life has to continue and it shouldn't revolve around that loss. So comfort can also come from just being around others who care about you and just have fun generally. Like one of the hallmarks of our home life has been fun. We create a lot of fun activities in my home, and it's something that we did a lot when my husband was here, and even now that he's no longer here, we have chosen to continue that tradition. So sometimes as a family unit, we take ourselves out, we go to the movie, we go to the beach, different activities. If it is somebody's birthday, we make it a big deal. We cook in the house, we set up the house, decorate the house, and just generally have fun. Deliberately create activities that make us happy. If, for instance, you're dealing with the loss of a spouse, when your spouse was still here, one of the things that happened, if that relationship was a very good one, like mine, there's something that a touch from your spouse does to you. It creates dopamine, and dopamine is that feel-good chemical that makes you feel happy and all of that. So when you have a spouse that two of you have a beautiful relationship, even if it's just holding hands, it creates that, or you're doing an activity together, it releases dopamine, and it helps with the feel good feeling and all of that. So when that is no longer happening and the spouse passes on, like my spouse passed on, you discover that it's like somebody who is withdrawing from drug use. You begin to experience those withdrawal symptoms. So what helps is that you deliberately create activities that make you happy, that releases dopamine, so that you're not feeling depressed. And so those also, it helps you to cope during the season. So the key is for you not to isolate yourself. Surround yourself with the people that matter, and let them be part of your healing process. And then you need to turn to your friends and your family members. Now is the time to lean on the people who care about you. Even if you take pride in being a strong person, you take pride in being self-sufficient, you need people, reliable people who have your back. So rather than avoiding them, draw your friends and your loved ones close. Spend time together with them, face to face. And if they offer assistance to you, please accept the assistance. Don't withdraw, don't isolate yourself. Often people want to help, but they don't know how. So you need to tell them what you want. Like in this season, I've had a number of people have reached out to me, and they've told me, some people have told me that please, if you need anything, I'm not really sure what sort of help you would need. If you need a shoulder to cry on, if you just need somebody to talk to, please don't hesitate. A number of people have said that to me. So whether it is a shoulder to cry on, a listening ear, or just someone to hang out with, get the people in. Don't isolate yourself. I repeat, if you don't feel you have anyone you can regularly connect with in person, then it's never too late to build new relationships. So this is part of the thing that will help you through the season. And then accept that a lot of people will feel awkward when trying to comfort you. If you're experiencing a loss, if you're grieving, a lot of people will feel awkward. sometimes they don't really know what to say to you. Grief can be confusing. It can even be a frightening emotion for so many people. Like somebody has told me that I don't do very well with loss. I'm sorry, I don't really know what to say to you. And especially if they haven't experienced a similar loss themselves, so they may not really know how to handle that situation. So they may feel unsure about what to say to you, how to comfort you, and sometimes they'll end up saying or doing the wrong things, which could even upset you the more. So please cut them some slack, by this understanding, because don't also use that as an excuse to retreat into your shell and avoid social contact. If a friend or loved one reaches out to you, it's because they care. So even if they just reach out and just hold your hand and not say anything, I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot. So you need to allow people to help you. You need to allow yourself to accept the help that people are willing to offer. A few people had also called me. One or two persons have said to me, I'll not have money to give you, but if there's any other help that you need, please reach out. And for me, I felt slightly offended by that, by assuming that because I'm experiencing the loss of my husband, I'm going to take a plate and go around begging, And I had to think about it again. It's not, I realized that wasn't the intent, and it's all part of what I'm trying to explain, that a lot of people, when these things happen, they don't really know how to say it. They don't really know, how to, what to say. They are unsure. So they end up saying the wrong thing. So you need to understand that in the process of you facing your loss and grieving, there are so many people that will feel awkward when they are trying to comfort you or anybody who is grieving. Grief can be such a confusing, it could even be a really frightening emotion for a lot of people, especially if they haven't experienced a similar loss themselves. So as a result, they could end up saying things to you because they are unsure, they don't know how to comfort you. So they end up saying or doing the wrong things, and this could cause a lot of unintended pain. So you need to take this into cognizance when you're going through the grief. Just understand the motive behind them reaching out is because they care. So you cut them some slack, give them the benefit of the doubt, and that will also help. Another thing that will help you and could form a support through the process is drawing comfort from your faith. For me, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that He came and He died on the cross for my sins. So my personal relationship with God is what has helped me a whole deal in this season of loss. In fact, I say it everywhere I go that if I didn't have my faith, that this season would have been gloomy, this season would have been devastating. I would have even felt like giving up on life. But my faith in God is what has been my anchor. It has helped me. So if you have faith in God, please draw on the comfort that comes from your faith. And if there's maybe you follow a religious or traditional belief, then you should embrace the comfort that its morning rituals can provide for you. Spiritual activities that are meaningful to you, like going to church or meditating or praying, can offer you solace. So do not neglect that. And if in the wake of the loss you're questioning your faith, you need to talk to a clergy member or others who are in your religious community. There's a dear friend of mine who just lost her younger son, and it's pushed her to that space where she's seriously questioning her faith, and she's been upset and all of that. And that's quite understandable. It's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you to demand answers, even if the answers don't come. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all part of the process. And you can also join a support group. There are groups, like a friend of mine who lost her husband many years ago. She told me that there's this group that there are young widows who just lost their husbands. So she's in that group, and they help each other with the things that they share there that relate to their peculiar situations. grief can feel very lonely, even when you have your loved ones around. So sharing your sorrow with others who have experienced similar losses can help. So you could find a support group that you could be part of, to help you through this season. And or you could go for counseling. You could talk to a counselor or a therapist. One of the things that I did that early period, the first few months of my husband's passing, was that apart from seeking solace in the Word of God, I decided to go for a certificate course in grief counseling, and that also helped me to process. So if your grief feels like it's too much to bear, please find a mental health professional who has experience in grief counseling. My children and I got counseling, and I want to publicly say thank you to this person. She reached out to me, a total stranger based in the UK. She reached out to me on my Instagram, and we got talking. She said she had been following my husband's videos online, and his videos had blessed her a whole lot. So God sent her to me in that season, and before I knew it, she had organized a professional grief counseling session for the children and I with some professionals in the UK. And she didn't ask for a dime. She didn't ask for a dime, because if we had to pay for that, I'm sure we'd have paid some good money to be able to have that session. But God sent her to us, and we're able to have that session as a family, and it's something that I'm also thankful to God for.